What's up, everyone? It's me, Emma, the heavy metal lawyer, and I have a package. Specifically, a package from the great Headsplit Records out of Portland, Oregon. One of the best in the scene right now to be doing it. So today we're going to be doing a video where I'm going to check out the 4 cassettes that I got from these folks. They also included the newsletter. Very cool. I love, one of the things that's so great about Headsplit is they do awesome zines, awesome newsletters with great interviews. It's done in this very Xerox old school style that is just really fun, really cool, and just has a sort of earnesty that you don't get from a lot of labels, even extreme metal labels nowadays. We've got Cerebral Tumor. You know, I resisted the pull of cassettes for so long. You got a flea there. Definitely giving that sort of trashy gore grind type vibe. Mala Ipsa Nova. Here's the track listing. Very classic gore grind, sort of medical stuff. This is awesome. I'm very curious where they got that or if they just created it for it. Very fun. Oh, here we go. Artwork by Ancient Masters of the Engraving. Well, there you go. I assume this is the person behind the madness. We're going to throw this on the tape deck and see what we think. Here we go. Really murky. Love that guitar tone. It's like murky but almost juicy. Almost a thrashy guitar riff here. Got some kind of synth going on in the background. Gives it a nice touch, helps fill out the sound of it. I knew it was coming. Reminds me a lot of Putrefaction Sets In, the gore grind supergroup. Bit of a Slayer style guitar solo there. Let's flip the tape and see what's on side 2. So for those of you who've never listened to a cassette tape before, which I imagine a lot of young viewers haven't, it's magnetic tape on the cassettes. And so when if the music takes up the entirety of the magnetic tape for the cassette, you'll listen to side 1 and you'll literally get to the end of the tape. You flip it around, on the back side of the tape is side 2. And so you can just immediately start playing it. However, for shorter things like demos, it won't take up the full side of the tape, so when you flip it, you actually have to rewind it then to get to the beginning. Let's listen to side 2. We got dark, almost dungeon synth intro here. Guitar tone's a little different on this track, more crushing, more ripping. It's a fun riff. I love that second guitar over the top playing the high part. Vocals here almost remind me of Philo Medusa, like very croaky. Bouncy part. I'm such a sucker for just a only vocals intro, especially for extreme metal genres. Just that to have at the intro, fucking awesome. Ooh, slow song, or at least slow intro. That bass tone is ridiculous. It's like super muff fuzzy. Oh, I think that's it. I think we've died from brain cancer. Alright, so another thing that y'all kids watching may not know, you will always rewind your tapes. Always. Final thoughts on that one. Fucking awesome. Just really cool. As I said before, there is a lot of resemblance to Putrefaction Sets In, but also with a much murkier tone and audio quality that you usually hear more with like death doom bands. So it's really interesting to see that brought to faster extreme metal music. But really cool, and I would love to hear a full release from these guys because it was awesome. All right, I'm back. Got my Zero Sugar Mountain Dew Baja Blast tumor in this really cool vintage cassette storage thing I have. It's pretty full. Next, this is probably the release I'm most excited to check out, Diabolus. For those not familiar, Diabolus was one of the OG underground death metal groups, I believe out of Texas. Plain black cassette. Got track list right here. This is just general info. This is an artifact of its time, mostly buried in the past until now. It was not its own phenomenon, but a gateway to greater things ahead. It is a paean to the grandness of death metal in the early 90s. And much more from Jeff Tandy, who's the bassist of the band. Here's a little cool collage of photos, and looks like they played with Crucifix, Toxic Compulsion. Very cool stuff. Really excited to check this out. So right off the bat, this is definitely 90s production. Love that riff. Oh man, those vocals are sick. Ooh, that drumming. I think one of the things that immediately stands out for me and has always been a draw for 90s death metal for me is the songwriting is just really awesome. And Natalie Purcell in this book, Death Metal Music, does a really good job about talking about that songwriting and why it makes early death metal so unique among not just other metal subgenres, but for music in general. These riffs are so good. They're so good. Very angular and sharp. So yeah, to talk about the songwriting aspect again, death metal, especially early death metal, they didn't do the verse, chorus breakdown, verse or chorus again, song structure that you hear in most Western popular music. Even when they bring back a riff over and over again, and you're hearing a lot of that on this cassette, the riff is brought back in different ways, interpolated, set to a different drumming rhythm, used with or without vocals. Really cool guitar solo right here. Very groovy part here. You're hearing lots of start, stop, which I really like. It gives this nice shift to the dynamics, which is another thing that I like a lot more in older death metal than in a lot of more recent extreme metal where it's just like constant loud. Like you gotta have some quiet, some stops to appreciate the extremeness more, to contrast it. The drumming on this is out of this world. Dirty. It's really cool that there are people out there like Headsplit digging up these artifacts of 90s death metal. This riff, the harmonizing two guitar, that's so 90s death metal. Almost, it reminds me a lot of Carcass. Flip. Ooh. That palm muted tone. What is that? Oh, love it. Yeah, so the first sight of this was a rehearsal demo from spring of 1992. And this was recorded fall of 1992 and summer of 1993. You can really hear the difference in quality in terms of the recording. This track has an awesome name, Manifest of the Dagger. Guitar solo stands out a lot more, which is nice. Great groovy riff here. Hammer-ons for guitars are essential for creating that groovy death metal riff. One of the things that really loses out in old school death metal, just because of the recording technology and also what was common amongst like sets of that time, is the bass guitar. So it wasn't very common to have like big muff pedals on your bass guitar at that time, or really to add any kind of pedal guitar tones onto your bass guitar. And then just the kind of recording quality for most 90s death metal, you just kind of lose the bass guitar in it, which is too bad. I mean, you can really tell the difference with like the Cerebral Tumor demo that we just listened to, which by no means was like super great studio quality, but the bass just came through so much more. Ooh, that palm. I don't think I've ever heard a palm muted guitar tone like that. It's so chunky and like. The guitar solos are pretty short, which I think fits. I think it fits this their songwriting style. Nice little bend there. You can even tell in terms of not hearing the bass. You can't really hear the bass drum even. A little bit of a charging riff there. One of the ways you can tell this band thinks a lot about their songwriting is how the songs really flow into each other. Even on a demo, like, that's someone who's thinking a lot about their songwriting. Nerds, I'm calling them nerds. Telling you, the hammer-ons, crucial for the groovy death metal breakdowns. I'd be tearing it up in the pit right now. And that's it. What a great trip back in time to 1993. Next up, Pervosos. Full disclosure, I did listen to this one ahead of time. I couldn't help myself when I saw what it was, which is very old school Brazilian black metal in that thrashy sort of volcano sort of way. Got a little band picture here. Just dudes being fellas. Very cute. And play. Ripping black metal vocals, like Nun Slaughter, stuff like that. But there's almost a ghastly quality to it, too. It's just evil death, just evil black metal. None of this, oh, I'm sad black metal, just evil, conjuring demons, drinking blood, hanging out with goats. Almost like a march rhythm. The tuning of the drums reminds me a lot of this Chinese black speed metal band, Demon Slot 666. Oh, that bass. You know, shit goes crazy when they play this live. I mean, you listen to riffs like that, that's just straight thrash. Just straight thrash. I'd be really curious, you know, it says on the cassette they recorded it in their basement. I'd be really curious what the recording setup was, because they did a really good job of getting the levels right for all the different instruments. Gotta have a little echo on the vocals. I realized a lot of y'all might not have realized what I was talking about with drum tuning, so let me talk about it a little bit. This is a Boderon. This is obviously very different from the drum kits that they'd be using in death metal, but we can illustrate the principles the same. With your standard rock drum kit, you have a tune key, and you use that to tighten the skin of the drum. And the way that the tuning is for this album and for the other album that I mentioned is looser, which gives it a more resonant sound, like. Whereas if you do it tighter, it's a more raspier sound, which I can imitate by just pressing on the skin here. You hear that? Less resonant, sharper, more resonant, deeper. You can just tell these guys are old school black metal nerds. Sodom shirt, blood shirt. I certainly like to listen to some things more than once. Last up, we've got... Can anyone read this? Can you read it? This is a band called Sordid Oozing Opening, which I'm sure you can imagine is, I haven't listened to it yet, so can't be 100% sure, but I'm gonna guess that it is gore grind. We've got kind of an abstract design here, so maybe something more experimental like Effluence. We've got this is a 2-person outfit. Really stoked to give this a listen. We've got orange cassette, and this is another A/B, meaning same thing on both sides. Let's see if it is. I like this palm muting part. Do wish the guitar levels were a little higher. It's a little hard to hear the riffs under the drumming. Gotta fade out here. Yeah, this is some brutal death grind. It's good. Again, I think I would like the levels to be a little bit different. It's a demo. I'm not gonna hit them too hard for not having the levels right on a demo. beat here. A bit of a scratchy riff here. A lot of steady marching parts of this band. Just that. Interesting thing he's doing with the cymbals in this breakdown. It's like this shimmering, almost psychedelic effect. Oh, yum. That was funny. All right. You know, it's much less fleshed out, pun very much intended, than the other ones that we gave a listen to. But that's okay. Again, it's a demo, so I'm not going to hit them too hard for that. I would certainly, if they came out with an EP or full length, give it a listen. There were enough interesting ideas on there. But yeah, overall, some really great stuff coming out from Headsplit Records. Make sure to check them out. Make sure to buy analog, support your local music, fuck streaming. Let's, listen to physical media again because it's so fun. I'm Emma, the heavy metal lawyer. Let me know if you like this kind of listen through format. I really like doing it. If you really like listening it, then I'll definitely, or really like watching it, I'll definitely make more because it's a lot of fun. Maybe with some classic albums, if that would be of interest. Yeah,